Wild boars in Turkey are known for their enormous size, far surpassing their European counterparts. However, more and more serious problems involving these boars are being reported, from crop destruction to human attacks. With our well-honed hunting skills, today we are determined to launch a campaign to wipe out these menacing creatures. In the morning, my fellow hunters and I arrived at the mountaintop, where we had a panoramic view of the surrounding area. After hours of tracking and patiently waiting, sure enough, the wild boar appeared. After taking a moment to adjust my aim, I pulled the trigger. But it moved incredibly fast and was highly alert, successfully dodging my shot. Still, we didn't give up. This time, the boar was truly taken down. Building on our earlier success, we didn't miss the chance to bring down a wild boar charging toward us at terrifying speed. After 2 deadly shots, it collapsed completely in the blink of an eye. We carefully scouted every corner of the mountainside, constantly spotting silhouettes of wild boars. They were all aggressive and moved rapidly. Excitement surged within me, and I longed to hunt even more. We kept chasing, closing in, and aiming carefully. Gunshots rang out crisply. Each boar panicked and tried to flee, but there was no escape. My accurate shot put an end to the target. That afternoon, we resumed our mission to eliminate this invasive species. The boars were agile and quick, making them difficult targets. Only when one got cornered by the dogs in dense trees did I get a clear shot. Perfect. Two precise gunshots rang out, and the wild boar had no chance of escape. Sticking with our close pursuit strategy, we advanced deep into the forest where the wild boars were hiding. Though we didn't find a large group, we did encounter giant boars. There was no time for hesitation. The aiming and shooting had to be fast yet decisive. That's what helped us successfully bring down the boar as we intended. From within the trees, I spotted a wild boar standing still. It seemed somewhat alert, but that didn't matter. With a single quick and resolute shot, it fell motionless to the ground. Some of the wild boars were so huge that I could see them clearly from a long distance, yet I couldn't shoot right away. We had to trek down to get closer to the prey. Luckily, the dogs alerted us to the exact location of the boars. After one shot, it fled in panic, but ultimately it was still taken down in the vast wilderness. With the success we'd achieved on this hunt, we planned to return earlier than expected. But on the way back, a pack of wild boars suddenly charged out, as if taunting us. They crossed the road quickly, so we were determined to pursue. One ran across an open field. I chased after it and fired a shot, successfully taking it down amidst the hunting dogs. And so I ended today's hunt on a high note.
After many thrilling and challenging hunting trips, this time we decided to take our experience to the next level with an even tougher mission. Not in remote mountains or vast fields, but deep within a dense, treacherous swamp. Yes, you heard that right. A massive swamp in Louisiana, USA, where the muddy and rugged terrain makes wild boar hunting incredibly demanding. With the support of an airboat and expert hunting skills, we were ready for an intense showdown. Follow along and join us as we take on this new challenge. This trip was more special than ever with the participation of Hank, Swamp King Turner, a legendary hunter with decades of experience battling wild boars. He meticulously prepared everything from bait and hunting knives to sturdy trapping nets. Our boat glided smoothly over the calm waters. Upon reaching an ideal open area, the team quickly executed the plan. We set up traps using wooden and metal stakes, creating a semi-enclosed area with high-hanging nets. Inside, food was scattered to lure the wild boars in. The moment they stepped in and triggered the mechanism, the net would drop, trapping these destructive creatures inside. Once everything was in place, we quietly retreated, keeping a safe distance to avoid alarming the boars. Time passed in suspense. Our journey through the swamp continued, and before long, we took down another massive wild boar. The boar lay motionless after a precise, fatal shot. Then, when we returned, the sight before us was exhilarating. An entire herd of wild boars had been caught. They thrashed and struggled desperately, but there was no escape. In no time, more than a dozen wild boars were subdued and loaded onto the boat. It was an intense, thrilling, and unforgettable hunting trip. With the help of the airboat, we pressed on in search of more giant wild boars. Eyes scanning every bush and every disturbed patch of mud. Signs of prey lurking nearby. Suddenly, a dark figure emerged. The team immediately slowed down, readying our guns. A well-aimed bullet pierced the animal's body, bringing it down instantly. Shortly after, we spotted and successfully took down several more targets. Wild boars became more active. We were determined not to let them escape. Navigating through the dense vegetation, we had to wade across small water channels, making it difficult to spot our prey. After tracking for a while, I finally caught sight of a dark silhouette. My footsteps left deep imprints in the muddy ground. The wild boar was still there, eagerly searching for food, completely unaware of the lurking danger. I needed to get closer. This was the perfect opportunity. Carefully adjusting my aim, I ensured that each shot would be as effective as possible. Direct hit. The bullet struck its mark, and the boar collapsed instantly. Fatigue from the long chase vanished in an instant as I smiled with satisfaction at our achievement. As twilight deepened, wild boar activity peaked, but we couldn't let any prey escape. The hunt pressed on. The thick vegetation and swampy terrain made every step heavy, but persistence paid off. Following the tracks, I spotted another dark silhouette ahead. The wild boar, completely unaware of the imminent threat, was still rummaging through the dirt for food. This was the perfect chance. I steadied my rifle, carefully adjusting the angle for maximum impact. Bullseye. The bullet hit its weak spot, and the boar dropped instantly. The exhaustion from the day's chase faded away as I grinned, knowing we had secured another victory in this untamed swamp. But we remained patient, lying in wait for the next target. Suddenly, a massive wild boar boldly entered the hunting zone. Seizing the moment, we signaled our hunting dogs to attack. Nightfall arrived. Their coordination was flawless. They bit down hard, preventing the beast from making any escape attempt. The wild boar roared and thrashed violently, but the dog's sharp fangs had it completely trapped in this life-or-death struggle. Though exhausted, the excitement remained. We knew that out there, many more wild boars were still lurking, and this journey was far from over. New challenges awaited us. Japan, the land of the rising sun, famous for cherry blossoms, Mount Fuji, and its unique culture. However, this country is also facing a serious problem: the rapid surge of wild boars. The dense forests and rugged terrain have unintentionally become a paradise for these creatures. They invade farmlands, ravage crops, and cause severe damage to farmers. Dense bamboo forests serve as the perfect sanctuary for wild boars in Japan. They weave through the sturdy bamboo stalks, enjoying the abundant food supply and natural cover. Yet, amidst this untouched beauty, a silent battle is unfolding. Felled bamboo trunks lie chaotically, obstructing my path as I pursue my target. Sweat drips down my face as I push through the rugged terrain, moving toward my prey hiding above. Then, the critical moment arrives. The wild boar is perfectly positioned within my sights. Without hesitation, I pull the trigger. The gunshot rings out, and the bullet flies straight to its mark, taking the boar down instantly. Its hefty body rolls a few times before coming to a complete stop, a swift and decisive end. Deep in the dense forest, the eerie silence is broken only by the crunching of dry leaves under my footsteps. In this battlefield, only highly trained hunting dogs can track down the prey. Wild boars, nature's cunning predators, can hide in the shadows or charge at any moment. I tread cautiously, each step deliberate, as if walking on the edge of a cliff. The terrain is steep and slippery. One wrong move could cost me my life. Suddenly, the hunting dogs bark furiously, signaling danger ahead. My heart pounds as I rush downhill. Fallen branches create natural obstacles, hindering my every step. My breath quickens, and I tighten my grip on my weapon. Then, 3 dark figures burst out of the underbrush. Without delay, I raise my gun, hold my breath, and pull the trigger. A precise shot echoes through the air. We continue tracking down the remaining ones. The thunderous gunshots shatter the stillness of the forest. Each shot marks another victory, with wild boars falling one by one. Higher up, the snow has yet to fully melt, leaving patches of white scattered across the ground. Following the trail, I crouch low, ready to strike. Then, from the dense bushes below, a heavy shadow lunges forward like an arrow. Without hesitation, I pull the trigger. The gunshot booms. Instead of fleeing, the boar charges straight at the hunting dog. But the bullet has already pierced deep into its body, causing it to let out a final roar before collapsing. I cautiously approach, holding my breath, then raise my gun. A second decisive shot rings out. The once mighty destroyer is now nothing but a lifeless carcass. Before leaving, the hunter bows to the forest, a gesture of gratitude to Mother Nature. For in the cycle of survival, whether hunter or prey, all are part of the same eternal balance. On the way back, just when we thought the journey had ended, we encountered another unfortunate boar. This time, there was no escape. It was taken away, marking another victory in our battle against this invasive species. Aside from firearms, the Japanese employ a more sophisticated and humane method: foot snare traps. This controlled method of capturing wild boars is strictly regulated, requiring legal permits due to its impact on the ecosystem. Once subdued, the hunter drags it out of the forest, marking the end of the hunt.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Oh, big pig! Big pig! 9 o'clock! 9 o'clock!
Louisiana, where the fields stretch and the swamps are vast, braced against an unwelcome enemy, feral pigs. According to local government statistics, the damage caused by feral pigs is estimated to be in the millions of dollars each year. We couldn't wait for the pigs to come to our homes. We couldn't wait for them to destroy our crops. And we couldn't kill them one by one the old-fashioned way. Too dangerous, too slow. So the aerial assault was launched, and we, the seasoned hunters, were invited to join in. We were in the helicopter and headed out to the vast plains. From above, we watched the panicked pigs flee. Amidst the noise of the propellers, we kept firing, aiming at the pigs below. The open terrain made it easy for us to spot the target. With no place to hide, the herd of pigs was quickly taken down. From our position on the plain, we detected signs of another herd of wild pigs, but they were hiding in the nearby woods, making it difficult to see clearly. So a plan was made. The plane lowered its altitude, approached, and caused a commotion. Finally, after half an hour of patience, the wild pigs could not bear it and ran out. And the result could not be otherwise. A lightning attack took place, and we successfully finished off the target. However, in the chaos, a few wild boars were lucky to escape. Immediately launched a pursuit. Here it is. After determining the location of the herd of pigs, we were ready to attack. These wild boars were more cunning than we thought. They avoided the fatal shot, which surprised the whole team. Immediately after, we also took advantage of the opportunity and shot down a few more wild boars.
Well, after we got so horny to touch off rounds of
This hunting method is really effective. It didn't take us too long to find the target. After the intense confrontation, a few wild boars were running away. They separated from the herd and ran everywhere. Not missing the opportunity, the whole team fought with all their might. We aimed our guns at the biggest ones and pulled the trigger. Oh, this target is so big. Aiming at the vital spot, I fired a decisive shot. After a loud bang, the wild boar had no chance to escape. Continuing the fight, we moved towards the lush fields. They thought that the tall grass would help them hide, but it was all in vain. After being discovered, they ran away at an extremely fast speed. We only took down a few targets. However, we did not give up and continued to chase. in the afternoon, we continued our high-altitude hunting trip. This time, we were more prepared, but at this time, the pigs were also extremely active. We really don't remember how many pigs were taken down today. It could be a huge number, and this was a successful hunt. In recent days, the situation of wild boars has been the destruction in this mountainous area has gotten out of control. The farmers here are fed up. They need an immediate solution, and that's why we're here. Today, our plan is twofold. Set a trap for wild boars first, then go hunting in the nearby mountains. We drag large iron cage traps to an area where wild boars often pass by. The dense footprints on the ground show that they have been here many times before. The trap is firmly reinforced, has a surveillance camera system, placed close to the edge of the forest, baited with corn and food with the scent of bran. After completing, the group quickly moves to the mountain, ready for the hunt. We split into two groups, lurking on the hilltops. The group moved carefully, listening, observing every movement around. Here it is, a wild boar appeared right in front. The first round of fire was deployed. We were quite surprised that it could escape without any damage. Raise the gun, ambush ahead. But this was just the beginning. We continued to move forward, searching for the boar's tracks. Something was ahead. Approach carefully, it was a wild boar. This is a very crowded herd of pigs. The pigs are big and fat. Their speed of movement cannot be underestimated. Therefore, it is very difficult to shoot accurately and take them down. It seemed like an opportunity was coming, but the herd of pigs detected the danger. They immediately turned around and ran away. Without thinking much, we decisively pulled the trigger. We only managed to take down a medium-sized target. With a bit of regret, the group was determined to track down and take down the entire herd of pigs. Here it is. The eyes of the group still followed every movement of the wild pigs. As soon as they moved to the most ideal position, gunshots immediately rang out. The hunt continued. Each time we encountered them, we had to calculate the appropriate tactics to optimize efficiency while still ensuring safety. Through each battle, the number of wild boars killed increased. We knew that there were still many other herds of wild boars lurking somewhere on this mountain. We arrived at the neighboring mountain. This was where the wild boars often came in the afternoon to find food. And as expected, another herd of pigs appeared. This time, the battle was more fierce. We had to constantly move and change positions to avoid being counterattacked by the pigs. The huge, bulky boars were still galloping across the hillsides. Only when they reached an open area could we open fire. Despite having killed a large number, the battle was not over yet. The wild boar continues to thrive, and there will certainly be more hunting trips like this in the future. The last series of shots could only take down a few wild pigs. Quite a pity, so we need to try harder. Today, we did a good job, but tomorrow, there are still many challenges waiting ahead. As the sky began to darken, the group returned to the trap area. When they arrived, the sight before their eyes surprised everyone. The trap had worked. At least 10 wild boars were trapped inside, struggling wildly but unable to escape. To ensure safety, we decided to finish them off before opening the trap. After a long day of fighting, we had taken down dozens of wild boars, a significant number in our efforts to control their numbers.
wheat fields, wiping out the farmers' entire harvests. Today, though it may seem ruthless, we have no other choice. We must take up arms and set out to hunt them down, determined to eliminate these wild boars to protect our homeland. To catch these destructive wild boars, I often patrol the fields in the late afternoon, just before sunset. On this first mission, I let my loyal hunting dogs take the lead. With their sharp sense of smell, they quickly tracked down the boar's hideout. Like an arrow, one of them sprinted toward the target, cornering the boar with no aim. Another dog swiftly escaped, trapping it completely. The entire pack lunged simultaneously, attacking with precision. A well-placed bite left the boar writhing and squealing in agony. My hunting dogs were truly fearless and intelligent, worthy warriors. Ahead of us, one powerful boar was using all its strength to dash across the field. But I wasn't about to let it escape. My gun fired continuously, and the echoing shots quickly brought down the monster's beast. I patiently followed the boar's tracks, waiting in ambush. The cooler air seemed to lure them out in greater numbers. I had aimed carefully. These creatures were incredibly fast and not easy to take down. Gunshots rang out one after another, and wild boars crashed in the fields. Everything happened quickly, and soon, the remaining boars vanished beyond sight. I returned home after an unforgettable day of hunting. That afternoon, we moved closer to the grassy hills. They feared it might attack the cows grazing nearby. We immediately moved into position, ready to take it down. With our experience, we swiftly locked onto the target and fired. The wounded boar staggered as it tried to flee, but within seconds we caught up to it. A second shot rang out, ending its escape attempt. As we approached, the three of us were astonished. This beast must have weighed at least 150 kilograms. A truly impressive trophy after such an intense chase. Carefully positioned on a nearby hill, I silently observed every movement around me. Suddenly, a wild boar dashed across my line of sight. It was incredibly fast, and I immediately jumped on my vehicle to chase it down. When the boar attempted to escape, I seized the opportunity. A single well-aimed shot hit its mark, bringing the beast down. With my trusty hunting rifle in hand, I continued scanning for new targets. In the distance, I spotted a herd of wild boars running through the forest. Reacting as quickly as possible, I managed to take down 2 of them. The rest of the herd disappeared into the wilderness. A massive wild boar with two long, curved tusks and sharp teeth boldly charged into the area. It showed no fear, standing his ground against me. Without hesitation, I pulled the trigger. The gunshot roared, dust filled the air, and the beast collapsed, eliminating the immediate threat.
Ooh.
Our wild boar hunt has been a great success, yielding remarkable trophies. However, our efforts are not just for sport. They're driven by the hope that one day there will be no more conflicts between wild boars and humans. Thank you all for following our journey. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support our channel. See you in the next video.
Upon arriving at the hunting grounds in Africa, we were filled with both excitement and caution. This place is not only a land of majestic golden grasslands, but also a battleground where predators and prey are in a constant struggle for survival. Our companion, a seasoned hunter who lives here, told us that the wildlife population has exploded, posing a threat to nearby villages. A hunting expedition is necessary to control the population and restore the natural balance. We followed the tracks of a lion pride lurking near the forest's edge, where villagers had reported repeated livestock attacks. A deep, resonating growl echoed in the distance, signaling the presence of a true predator. Lions are dangerous animals, so we had to be extremely careful. Quickly getting into position, we raised our guns, ready for a life or death battle. Moving cautiously through the low bushes and hiding behind massive tree trunks, we felt the tension thick in the air. first bullet fired, hitting the lion's shoulder, but it wasn't enough to bring it down. Fury ignited in his eyes as it roared loudly. We had to coordinate perfectly, continuously firing to prevent a sudden counterattack from this mighty predator. As the lion collapsed, we sighed in relief, but we knew this was just the beginning of a long and challenging day. Continuing our journey, we ventured into the vast savanna, where a herd of zebras grazed peacefully. The villagers needed their meat and hides, as their increasing numbers were affecting the food supply of other wildlife. Unlike the encounter with the lion, this was a real chase. Zebras are swift as the wind. At the slightest noise, they would bolt like a storm. We split into teams, with one group applying pressure to drive them into an ambush. Shots rang out, and the zebras panicked, sprinting forward. But we had calculated their path. A fully grown zebra was taken down instantly. The rest vanished into the distance, leaving deep hoof prints in the dry grass. Fortunately, we managed to take down another zebra before they escaped completely. While tracking the zebras, we suddenly spotted a kudu, a massive antelope with impressive spiral horns, hiding in the dense bushes. Approaching a kudu is no easy task. They are incredibly alert and can sprint away at high speed if they sense danger. A large male kudu stood apart, scanning its surroundings cautiously. This was our target. The first shot fired, the kudu staggered before collapsing. The rest of the herd fled instantly, but we had already planned ahead. Another team member lay in wait, aimed carefully, and pulled the trigger, a perfect shot. Moving along the vast grasslands, we encountered another herd of antelopes grazing. Alongside zebras, antelopes are an essential source of meat in many African cultures. Locals use their meat for food, while their hides are crafted into traditional clothing and tools. Under the blazing sun, the antelopes remained highly alert, their eyes constantly scanning for danger. When one antelope wandered slightly away from the herd, we knew it was the perfect opportunity. We carefully approached to avoid detection. This was the moment. We were ready to fire. A precise shot struck the target. The large antelope collapsed instantly after a loud gunshot echoed across the plains. As soon as the target appeared, we pulled the trigger. The gunshot rang out, one shot, one kill. This hunt not only yielded significant results, but also helped balance the wildlife population, ensuring the safety of the local people.
In the fruit gardens of Morocco, wild boars are still lurking and waiting for the opportunity to destroy. A new crop season is about to begin. Farmers need to quickly drive wild boars out of the growing area. Determined to protect their crops, today farmers will begin a campaign to sweep away wild boars. Let's follow the intense battle that will take place today. Wild boars are increasing in number and have become a major threat to farmers' fields. They often invade orange groves, dig up and destroy the soil, and eat crops. The damage caused by wild boars not only reduces productivity, but also directly affects farmers' income, making their lives more difficult. The increase in wild boars puts great pressure on farmers, forcing them to find ways to protect their crops. One of the urgent solutions is to organize hunting or chase pigs away from the growing area. Our mission today was to search the orange groves to exterminate these uninvited guests. After a long search, we finally found a wild boar. It rushed out of the dense grass under the pressure of the hunting dogs. Immediately, a clean, decisive gunshot rang out. Everything happened so fast, the wild boar was brought down on the spot. The excitement was evident from the hunting dogs. We then continued our ambush in the dense orchard. The hunting dogs sniffed the scent of the wild boar and barked loudly. In just a moment, the wild boar was pressured and forced to rush out of its hiding place. As soon as it passed by, gunshots rang out regularly. But it was only when I faced it directly that I was able to shoot accurately and take it down. The other wild boars were also running away in panic, but we persisted in ambushing and took them down one by one. Everything went very smoothly. We did not let them escape. The wild boar hunt was thrilling and dramatic. The wild boars hid in the thick grass, forcing us to concentrate, looking for even the smallest traces. As soon as their silhouettes appeared, shots would immediately ring out. However, their incredible agility made aiming extremely difficult. After several missed shots, luck finally smiled on me. A wild boar was hit and fell in the middle of the wilderness. The others immediately disappeared into the thick grass, but we were not discouraged. With great determination, the group quickly followed the trail, not letting the prey escape our grasp. My dog barked loudly and enthusiastically, signaling that it had discovered the boar's hiding place. As expected, the boar suddenly rushed out of the grass, and immediately a sharp gunshot rang out. A perfect shot. The boar collapsed on the spot. The chase was not over yet. Following the dog's barking, we continued to move deeper into the dense bushes. Suddenly, Another wild boar rushed across the trail at a terrifying speed, but it could not escape the decisive fatal shot. The process of hunting wild boars to protect the fields was not easy, but we still tried to complete the mission. While searching for wild boars, a wild boar suddenly jumped into the small river, intending to swim to the other side to escape. To avoid that, I fired several shots in succession. At this distance, the wild boar had absolutely no chance of escaping. So we got our next trophy. From my ambush position, I spotted a wild boar running past. It disappeared behind the bushes in a flash. But after a long search, I finally found the wild boar on the other side of the small stream. I took careful aim and shot the wild boar, letting out a piercing scream before it was completely killed. After that, I continued to chase other targets. The barking of dogs echoed from afar, making the atmosphere more tense and dramatic. Occasionally, the silhouettes of wild boars would appear, so we had to concentrate to be able to shoot accurately. With my shooting technique, I was able to take down quite a few targets, which was really not a bad result. Along the stream, we tried not to miss any targets. It was difficult to hit such fast-moving targets, but these efforts were not in vain, because as long as I focused, I was still able to take down the wild boar. Next to the orange orchards, wild boars appeared more frequently. We followed each target closely and waited for the most favorable moment to shoot. A wild boar rushed across the road, but was shot down by me with 2 shots. But the frequency of wild boars appearing was increasing. We also raised our vigilance, ready to shoot when the target appeared. As a result of our efforts, we destroyed many wild boars in the fruit orchards. After